We have made so many changes this month in February of 2025, and I am so excited to share with you today how everything is going. Hi everyone, welcome to our homeschool table. My name is Jerilyn. I am a homeschool mom of 3 kids ages 10, 3, and 1. This is our 6th year homeschooling, and this year I made quite a few changes in the month of February. One of them was planned, and I had planned that last year when I was looking at curriculum, and one was completely out of the blue, and since the last time I gave you an update, as you saw in several videos, I made a lot of changes. So let's go ahead and just jump right in, and I'm going to share with you about the changes that we made for math and for language arts. Go ahead and click that subscribe button down below and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy talking about homeschool and homeschool related topics. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about is the language arts that we switched to. So we switched to learning language arts through literature, and we are using the purple book. This is the 5th grade skills book, and it comes with all of the things that you will need to work on for 36 weeks of school. There are also 4 book studies. The books do not come with the program. You purchase those separately, but on the Common Sense Press website, you can get reading guides as to how to schedule the reading, along with discussion questions that are actually right here in the book, but it schedules it out for you. So I talked all about that in my flip through video of this program, so I will link that up above and down below in the description box if you are interested in learning more about this program. But I want to let you know that it is going really well, and my daughter, she's not complaining about it at all. She didn't really complain about language arts to begin with. We were using Christian Light Education Reading 5, which we really liked, but that was just a semester-long course. Hopefully there won't be too many distractions today. The little kids are playing inside, and there's, of course, a lawnmower almost right outside my window, so hopefully that's not too distracting for you. Anyway, so I was talking about the fact that Christian Light Education Reading 5, we finished that up because it's only a semester-long course. We also finished up Fix It Grammar Level 1, and we had 20 weeks out of the 30 to finish this school year. So we finished those up right at the same time in January, and I talked about that in my last update video. But that meant we were not going to have anything else for language arts for the rest of the year. So last year when I was thinking about all of that scheduling, that's why I picked up this book and decided to give this a try for the remainder of the school year. The good news is that my daughter is really enjoying this program. She really likes, even though it's 5 days a week now, she merges the first 2 days together usually. So she'll do lesson 1 and 2 together because they are kind of tending to be a little bit shorter and more focused on the copy work, spelling, and grammar. And then she works on the longer ones on Tuesday through Thursday. So then she's still usually able to be done by Friday. She is just finishing lesson 4. It's 1 lesson a week. So there's 5 parts to the lesson. There's day 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we decided that we are going to wait on the book studies until this summer when she is done with her Sunlight readers. So we use the Sunlight History Bible Literature Level E program this year, which has a full set of readers that go along with the history portion. And so since she's doing all of those readers, and she does one at a time, obviously, I decided to talk to her and see if she was okay with waiting on the book studies that go with this. And she said yes, that she is fine with that, and that that would give her something fun to do over the summer. So that's our plan for now, and I'm really glad that this program is working. So the next thing that I wanted to talk about as far as changes goes is our math. And we have been using MathUC since my daughter was in kindergarten, so since 2019. And every so often, probably February or March every year, I think, why are we doing this? The level gets really hard And yes, we do hard things, but sometimes we just need to change it up a little bit. I had noticed that this year especially, I was having to make a lot of review assignments for her using the Matthew C., what do they call it? The worksheet generator on their website. And I didn't mind doing that, but I had to make a review sheet for every single week to give her a little bit of extra practice on things that we had done from previous levels, but also things that she was learning in this new level, which we were working on epsilon level, which is all about fractions. So it was all going pretty fine. We were just moving really slowly, and I just knew that we needed more review. So that's why I decided, I was looking on the Christian Light Education website and going through all of their samples and looking up videos, which there weren't that many videos of in-depth flip-throughs of this program. So I went ahead and made one. I posted it last week. So if you are interested in Christian Light Education and you want to see really in-depth into that program, into this program, then I recommend watching that video, which I will link for you. But this program is almost completely opposite of what Matthew C is. So Matthew C is a very mastery-based program. Yes, they build in review, but it wasn't quite enough review for what we needed. And we needed the constant practice of different skills. We needed practice on addition, when adding numbers like to the thousands and carrying and things like that. We needed a lot of practice in subtraction and remembering how to borrow and things like that. And of course, multiplication and division were very necessary for working on fractions. And so there's just not quite as much of that constant practice of all the different skills. So Math 4 from Christian Light Education is really what we needed. Now, my daughter actually placed kind of between level 4 and 5. But I decided that I just wanted her to really enjoy math again and to build more confidence in skills. And since I knew that there were still going to be some new things that she wouldn't know from Math 4, I decided to go ahead and just do that. And that is going so well, you guys. I really love how it breaks it down. So there's 4 pages of math for each lesson. And so on the very first page, that's where they do any new teaching. The second page usually has some sort of review from last year, at least in the 402 light unit. 402 is the first one where they're learning new material. We are about halfway through this already, and she is so happy. So that makes obviously me really happy. In the back, there are speed drills. She really enjoys doing the speed drills every day. They're just 1-minute little timed tests. She doesn't mind being timed. And then she looks forward to how many she's getting right and how it's kind of going up the ladder of how many squares she gets to color in. It's very motivating for her. So I am super happy about that. The new teaching is just 1 page with some practice. Then there's some review of what she learned, what she would have learned in Math 3 had we done the program. And then the rest of it is all stuff that she pretty much already knew. It's just constant practice, multiplication, addition, a little bit of adding money, and a little bit of geometry and things like that. So I am so happy with this program. Did I say a couple of times that I really like this course? So we're really liking that. So those are all of the big changes that we made to Math and Language Arts. Now let's talk about the things that we have been using all year that we are still really loving. So we use Sunlight History Bible Literature Level E this year, which is the second year of American history. And even though American history isn't my daughter's absolute favorite, she really prefers ancient and medieval times more. But she enjoys the books, especially all of the readers. And she doesn't really have any that she has said she doesn't really like this year, which usually she definitely has a couple where she's like, can I just stop reading this book? It's not great. We have done a little bit more of listening to them on audio. In fact, right now her reader is an audiobook that I picked up for her. It's called Thimble Summer, and she just started it yesterday, so I don't have a lot of excitement about it yet or anything, but she has been listening to some of the books on audio. And some of the reason for listening to more books on audio in the last couple of months is that she actually needed to get glasses. So she had been having some headaches, and we've been keeping an eye on her vision for the last several years because my husband got glasses pretty early on and in second grade. So we've been really keeping an eye on that. And this year was the year that she needed to get glasses for being farsighted. And she looks so cute in her glasses. She can see better, so she's very happy about that and enjoying her new glasses. But back to Sunlight. We are kind of still going fairly slow through that program, and mainly because we've had a lot going on each week, it seems like. One week we had music on Friday. Last week we got together with some friends that we haven't hung out with in quite a while, and so we basically skipped half of our school day for that. This week I'm leaving to go to a homeschool conference in Southeast Washington that I'm helping out at with registration. So back to Sunlight again. We are currently on week 20, and we have just finished 2nd Chronicles in Bible reading, and we are now starting the book of Hosea, and that is all going really well. We really like the Bible portions, although I'm probably going to kind of put a hold on the Bible portion when we do our Easter study. And I'm actually going to be putting out a video on what Easter study we are using, and what we actually used it last year too, but this year I got one of the recommended books for it, and I'm really excited to use that resource because it looks absolutely beautiful. And so my next video that's coming out will be all about the Easter unit study, so stay tuned for that. So I might sub out the Bible section for those 4 weeks. It's a 4-week unit study. But that's not really that big of a deal. It doesn't really impact the history section or anything like that. So we will keep going through history. We are almost done with the landmark history of the American people, which I'm kind of glad about. I don't love that book. In fact, it has some opinions of different presidents that we don't really agree with, which isn't bad. We don't mind reading books that you have to talk about because you don't agree with something it says. But really the main reason that I'm glad is because it takes so long to read it. Usually if we have to read a chapter, it's like 20 to 30 minutes of just reading that chapter in the history book. And it's more like a textbook. It's not a living book per se. So I don't know. It's just a little bit more dry than I would prefer. But we really like all of the read alouds, especially, I'll put a picture of one up here, George Washington Carver. It's a Christian Heroes Then and Now book, and we are halfway through that book, and we really love it. I highly recommend that series because we have loved every one of them that we've ever done. We have read George Mueller, Gladys Aylward. I know we've read another one. I can't remember. If I remember, I'll put it up here. But that is a really, really good book. And it's all about his life. And those books are just written in such a narrative way, just really getting to know the person. Well, I got interrupted, so I can't remember exactly where I was at. But I was letting you know that we are doing really well with Sunlight. And we are on week 20. I think I already mentioned that as well. But we are just kind of slowly cruising through that. I don't intend to be done with it right at the end of the school year. We will probably continue it on just a little bit into the summer as well. I do try to stick to 1 week of work in the Monday through Friday time frame, but that doesn't always happen. So we just kind of do the next thing the next day and roll with it. Which I highly recommend, just being very flexible in your schedule and in your homeschool. So the next subject that I wanted to talk about was science. We use Apologia's Swimming Creatures of the Fifth Day, which is Zoology 2. My daughter is really enjoying that, and I think my favorite part about that science is that she has the audio book, which, you guys, it's only $12. Get the audiobook, because it takes a big load off of me from having to either read it aloud to her or her having to spend the time to read it. I have a toddler running around my feet here, so you might hear some toddler sounds. But what we do is my daughter actually listens to the audiobook and has the book out on the kitchen table. We have two tables. We have a dining room table and a kitchen table in the kitchen. And so while she is listening to the audiobook, she's making her lunch. She really likes to eat breakfast sausage for lunch every day. And so she cooks that and listens to the audio and reads along in the book, looks at all the pictures, and then after she's done eating lunch, she works on the activity pages from the notebooking journal, and that goes really well. We don't do every single activity in the notebooking journal. I'm definitely glad that we have it and that she uses it. The main thing that I have her do each time are the fascinating facts page, where she chooses something that she learned from that particular day, and she writes a couple sentences about that. There's a page for that in the front of the notebooking journal. She enjoys coloring the coloring pages. And then sometimes we do some of the activities or experiments. And then she always does the what do you remember questions. And instead of having her do the what do you remember questions on the very last day of the lesson, so a lesson is 4 different days. So we do 2 days one week and 2 days the next week. So I just have her read through the what do you remember questions and see if there's any of them that she can answer from that day. They actually do go in order from like the beginning of the chapter or the lesson to the end. So I just have her do a couple of those each time that she reads. So the way that I have it scheduled in our kind of weekly schedule is that I have her do a lesson on Monday and then a lesson on Wednesday. And Thursday we use just to kind of catch up if we got behind in one of the lessons or something like that. So we have really been liking Apologia, and I highly recommend getting the audio version. We do plan to continue on with this science program next year, and you'll have to wait and see which one we choose. But my friend that comes over on Tuesdays each week with her daughter, my daughter and her daughter are the same age, but she's a grade behind my daughter. But we decided that we are actually going to do the same science unit, get the notebooking journals, and then we will get together on Tuesdays like we have been this year, and we will do the activities together, which I'm really excited about because she's a little bit more of a sciencey mom than I am, and she likes the hands-on and all of that, and that is just not me. So I am glad that she will kind of encourage me to do more of the activities that I just kind of skip usually. So that will be really fun. Stay tuned to see what we choose. Okay, the last thing that I want to talk about is enrichment. Now, there are a couple things that we do on a very weekly basis. We do Hymn of the Month from Happy Hymnody, and we have still continued to do that. I print out the lyric sheets for my daughter and for myself. We listen to the song that they do on their YouTube channel at least once or twice a week. And usually it's actually my son that requests to do it, which is kind of cute. So we normally do the Hymn of the Month and then maybe another one or two that he chose from the ones that we've done in the past. So we still are doing our Hymn of the Month. We also are doing a picture study or information about an artist once a week, usually on Wednesdays. And so that's going really well. We are looking at Caravaggio right now, and I'm using the Ambleside online kind of schedule and pictures that they have on their website for that. So I just get on my computer, I pull up the website, click on the link to the picture. Sometimes I'll put it into a PowerPoint presentation, and sometimes I just pull the picture up and we look at it. It just kind of depends on how much time I've had to prepare. So that's all going really well. We're also learning about Vivaldi, and he is on the Ambleside composer schedule. So I have a couple of CDs that a friend of mine let me borrow. We're listening to The Best of Vivaldi, which has all 4 of the 4 seasons, plus a couple other things. Sorry for the glare. And then I also have one that she let me borrow that's Bach and Vivaldi, and we've studied Bach in the past, so it's been kind of nice to listen to some of those. So we've been doing that. Plus, if we run out of these, then I will use the music that is suggested on the Ambleside online website. We also use poetry from Ambleside Online, and I purchased the poetry anthology for my daughter. So um, she reads one poem from the poet that she's studying at the time on no, she reads them on Tuesdays and Thursdays right now. And then she tells me about the poem that she read. In fact, this morning she read a portion of a poem that she had really liked that was by Rudyard Kipling. She's right at the end of that. We've kind of been going slow through this anthology, so I foresee it taking us probably um, through the summer to finish that. And I'll probably get her the next one if there is one. I don't actually know how far it goes up, but we really like those poetry anthology books. And there's 30 to 40 poems per poet that they have in the book, which is really nice. You just kind of get to know the poet a little bit and how they write and what they write about and things like that. So we really like those. Along the same lines as picture study and composer study, I found this book at the library called Vivaldi's Four Seasons, and this is a great storybook about kind of his life and his life as a composer. So we are really liking this book, highly recommend. There's another one that I have coming. I don't remember the name of it, from the library as well, but it's not here yet. We are still waiting. So I will let you know next month if we enjoyed that book. Another kind of enrichment that we're doing is Grammarland. This is by M.L. Nesbitt, and this is a really old book, but it is a book about the parts of speech. Sorry about the kids screaming. It is a book about the parts of speech. They are personified, and it's a really fun story to just read to get to know the parts of speech a little bit better. So I recommend this book. One more topic that we are doing to enrich our studies is this unit from Rachel over at 7 and All. She has a website called Where'd You Learn That, or a company called Where'd You Learn That? And this is Excuses Exposed, shining a light on excuses. And so she starts right out in Genesis 3 and the fall, and how Adam and Eve blame each other and the serpent and all of those things. And so this has been really good to just talk a little bit about excuses and why we shouldn't make them, and ways that we can get better at not making excuses. We are only on like lesson 4 or 5, but it's already been really great to have good conversations about excuses. One more little thing that I wanted to say about math is that we are not going to be completely done with Math UC. I definitely see us still using Math UC to a degree. I just am going to be doing it with my daughter instead of requiring her to master the concepts. We will do it a lot more together instead of as independent as we were trying to make it before, which was causing all of the frustration. So even though we're using Christian Light, and that is probably going to continue on because we're really liking it and it's working, and she's learning new things that she needs to know. But I do still really like the method of how Math UC teaches math. So my plan is to kind of slowly continue on with that. We're in the fractions level this year, which means we have one more in the series of kind of the elementary levels, which is Zeta, and that's all about decimals. So I plan to, and I have that level already that a friend of mine gave me, and so my plan right now is to very slowly finish Epsilon over the course of this school year and probably partway into next school year. And then we will start into Zeta and just kind of keep flowing with that. And then what comes after that in Math UC is pre-algebra, which is fine. We might do that, or we might do a different pre-algebra program. I'm not sure yet about that. I don't usually plan that far in advance because for me, things could change next week, like they did after last month when I did an update video and I just changed everything. So I don't know exactly how we're going to do it, but I do plan after probably this next couple of weeks when we are through maybe the rest of this light unit and maybe on into the next one, once we kind of get our groove going as far as scheduling the lessons and things like that. Because right now she's wanting to do 2 lessons a day, which is completely fine with me because in her mind, she doesn't want to be in fourth grade math for very long. She was fine with starting there and all of that, but she wants to work on grade 5 material as soon as possible. So our plan, and I talked with my husband about that, is to just work through this program at her pace, and then we will purchase the next level when it comes to that time. The nice part is that for only $4 extra, you can get it in about 2 or 3 days instead of a week and a half or 2 weeks. So it can get here pretty quickly from their website. So I think that is about it as far as our February homeschool update. I am very pleased that everything is going so well. We still have a few moments here and there where we're having, challenges and things like that. That's just how life is. But I am really glad that we have found some things that are going really well and that we're excited about. And honestly, I am so glad that we made these changes in February, because I don't know about you, but this time of year, January, February, March, can be a little tiring. There's nothing fresh and new anymore. But by changing some things at this time of year, I am very happy about that. And I think it helps us to feel a little bit more motivated and excited about homeschool. So I am actually going to be thinking about that as I plan next year, because I want to be able to make some changes and have some fresh new things at this time of year again, because I think it really helped us. So stay tuned for all of those planning things later to come this spring. I hope that it was helpful for you to hear how things are going in our homeschool. I would love to know how things are going for you in your homeschool in the month of February, and maybe some things that you changed or things that you started or stopped, or whatever it was. Just share those things with me down below in the comments. Go ahead and click that subscribe button down below and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy talking about homeschool and homeschool related topics. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today at our homeschool table, and we'll see you next time.